Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make something called chicken tartiflette. So a tartiflette is a French dish which is potatoes and onions and garlic in some cream and white wine with a lovely soft rinded cheese in it. Often the cheese is simply cut diagonally. Often the round of cheese is simply cut horizontally through the middle and then placed on top of the rest of the ingredients with the soft skin facing upwards, and that's baked in the oven. And very often the onions and the potatoes are cooked in advance. Oh, sorry, and I should have mentioned there's some bacon in there as well. But for this particular dish, I'm basing it on a recipe which Mary Berry did, and I am changing the recipe slightly, but I'm basing it on her recipe. So I'm not saying that this is an authentic tartiflette, because it's not quite how most French people tend to do it. But nevertheless, that's what she called it, so that's what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to use chicken, I'm going to use some bacon lardons and some streaky bacon to wrap around the chicken, and it should be very, very nice indeed. And one of the advantages of doing it the way Mary is doing it is that you don't need to cook the potatoes and the onions and such like in advance. But I start off by preheating my oven to 200 degrees Celsius. That's 180 Celsius with a fan, 400 Fahrenheit. And I have a nice deep baking tray here, which is about 13 inches by 9 inches. So that would be 32 centimeters by 23 centimeters, something like that. You could use a larger one if you have a larger one. So I go on to the ingredients. And for this I have 600 grams, which is 21 ounces of new potatoes, which I have left the skins on, and I have cut them reasonably thickly, sort of between a quarter and a half an inch in thickness. I have 300 grams, which is 10.5 ounces of onion, which I have sliced. I have 2 cloves of garlic, which I have minced. 200 grams, 7 ounces of button or baby mushrooms. 200 millilitres, half a cup plus a third of a cup of white wine. 15 millilitres, a tablespoon of lemon juice. 15 millilitres, a tablespoon of mustard, and I'm using Dijon mustard, keeping with the French theme. 30 millilitres, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I have 2 grams, 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped thyme, and 6 grams, 2 tablespoons of freshly chopped parsley. I have here 113 grams, 4 ounces of the soft French cheese which I mentioned, and you can use whichever you want as long as it has a soft rind to it. And I've left the rind on, as you can see, and I've just chopped that into pieces. I have another 150 grams, 5¼ ounces of the same cheese, and I did cut that horizontally in half and then cut it into strips so that I'll be able to lay the rind upwards on top of the dish during baking. Then I have 6 breasts of chicken. I have streaky bacon, and here I have 12 rashers of streaky bacon. Each of these that you can see is 2 rashers, as you can see, and I'm going to use 2 of each to wrap round the chicken. I'm going to use 150 millilitres, which is half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of double cream, and I have 130 grams here, which is 4.5 ounces of bacon lardons. I'll also use some salt and pepper to season everything. So that's all the ingredients, and the first thing we need to do is to start cooking our potatoes, onions, garlic. So I'm going to put my onions into the pan and just break up those like that. And then I'm going to put my garlic in as well. And my bacon lardons and the potatoes and the olive oil. And I'm not seasoning this at the moment because the lardons will have salt in them, and I want to let that be released before I do any seasoning. So with those in, I'm simply going to stir them around. And then I'm going to put those into the oven, and I'm going to let them cook for about 25 minutes until the bacon is cooked, the onions are softened, and the potatoes are tender if I poke them with a skewer or with a fork. That will let me know that they're almost cooked through. And at that stage I will come back and we'll go on to the next step. So while I'm waiting for the potatoes to tenderise in the oven with the onions, the bacon and the garlic, I'm going to wrap my chicken breasts. So I'm going to take 2 rashers of my bacon. I'm going to wrap them around the chicken breast, and you can do this however you want basically. And just set them to one side for a moment. So I've cooked my bacon and onions and potato and garlic for 25 minutes, and the potato has started to tenderise. So I'm going to pour my wine in and my cream, and then I'm going to add in my mustard and the lemon juice, and I'll sprinkle over the thyme and half of the parsley. The other half I'm going to keep to sprinkle on the top later. I'm just going to give that a stir around, and the pan's very hot, so you have to be careful. And then I'll add in the mushrooms as well and just spread those around. And then my little cubes of cheese. And once that's in, I'm going to give it another stir around. Just like that. And then I need to put my chicken on the top. And with the chicken on the top, I'm then going to take my strips of cheese and put them between the chicken with the skin side of the cheese upwards. Just like that. And I'm going to put that back into the oven and I'm going to cook it for another 25 to 35 minutes. It's however long it takes for the chicken breasts to be cooked all the way through so that they reach an internal temperature of about 75 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Fahrenheit. That will let me know that they're cooked through. And at that stage, I'll take them out of the oven and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So I cooked this for 35 minutes and then I tested the temperature, and the chicken is over 75 degrees. So I'm simply going to sprinkle over a little bit of parsley, and that's then ready to serve. So I'll actually serve myself some up and then I'll come back and we'll have a taste. So I've just made a plate for my dinner, and it looks quite appetizing, I have to say. So I'll have a taste of the chicken with some potato. And I should say that I did season the sauce. I forgot to film that, but I did season the sauce with salt and pepper. That's very good. I just have a little taste of the sauce as well. That's delicious. And it's not, there's quite a bit of cheese in there, but it's not cheesy, just nice and creamy. And I get the flavour of the bacon as well. Very, very good. So this isn't a difficult recipe. My cooking times were different to Mary Berry's, and that's because she specified small chicken breasts, and I have no idea what she means by a small chicken breast. I just used the chicken breast I could buy, and I think they're probably bigger than the ones she used, so I extended the time to 35 minutes. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there'll be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.